everybody. This is Barbara J. Beckley, and this is the Coaches Lounge with my wonderful, wonderful guest that you're going to get so much information from this queen. You know, I call Lady Queens, and this is another queen. Tiffany Vakilian is my guest, is an author, is a publisher, is a well-known international speaker, and the list goes on. I'm telling you, when I meet people like this, I always say, please let me get on my calendar so you can get on the Coaches Lounge, because I know she's going to have so much information to share with you. Now, I always tell people I created the Coaches Lounge because I felt that the coaches out there, the consultants, people that really work with individuals wasn't getting their just due. They wasn't really being heard like they should. And I always tell people, you have yourself that you're building, but then if you're hiring a coach, guess what? They're helping you build with you to get to your next level. You got to give them their flowers, I always say. So that's why I created this show. And that's why I bring these wonderful people on, especially this queen tonight. So, Tiffany, how are you doing today, lady?
I feel fabulous. And after introduction like that, I feel even better. I'm like, who's she talking about?
You.
I'll take it. I receive it twice. Thank you.
Put it out there.
Thank you.
Put it out there. But lady, first of all, I just want to thank you for coming on the Coaches Lounge. I know, and I'm always full disclosure when I do the shows, is that I tell people all the time, yes, we've been back and forth. Yes, I've been trying to get this celebrity on, and with her schedule and my schedule, and you know how that goes. But I have her, and I really want people, and I always give people these instructions. They get mad at me sometimes, Tiffany. I'll be like, okay, after you listen to this wonderful queen, and she tells you the thing that she does for people, reach out to her. Okay, I'm done.
Okay, that's all right. I receive it.
See, those vibes keep going.
The worst thing that you could possibly do is tell somebody, I know what I'm doing, and they don't believe you. Yeah. That's time wasted. That's money spent that you could have spent on something else. Yeah. And so I didn't mean to do some of the things that I've done, but I am so grateful that I did because of all the lessons that I learned. Some lessons were really expensive. So here we are.
And that's like another show that we could talk about, talking about some lessons were expensive.
Yes.
But Tiffany, I always like to, because I always tell people when they come on the show, is that, with your genius and what you do, your wisdom, that you're helping others move in their, realm of life in the universe. Mm-hmm. But what you're doing, I know you just didn't pop out and say, hey, I want to be this international speaker, editor, publisher, and everything. I know you started somewhere. Something came in your life and said, this is my purpose. So can you just give us a little backstory of that?
I will try. It's a lot. I've been a performer and speaker my entire life. I didn't know that there was an actual career path that I was training myself up for growing up. I was just out in front of people, singing up and down the street, reading out loud. I was in plays. I did dance. I was all doing a bunch of different things and happy. And then life, and so I was married, I was happy, I was pregnant, and unfortunately, trigger warning, unfortunately, my son didn't make it. Mm-hmm. And that was, thank you so much. It was a beautiful time, but as with any death, you have to go through the process of grieving. The issue was that 3 months after my son passed away, my older brother passed away. And so everything that I was processing and feeling got shoved down under all of the weight of my older brother. Not that he did anything. It was just we had relationships, we had life, we had, minutia. We had to get him back. He passed away out of country. There was a lot going on. He owned a business, a lot of entrepreneurs in my family. Yes. And so what ended up happening was everything that I was feeling about my son just got shut and shoved down and shoved down and shoved down until it couldn't take it no more. And it just exploded out onto a page. Sent an email to my friend, sent it out to her, and a few days later she comes back to me and just calls me up crying. And I think all she got out for the first 5 minutes was, I read your email. Wow. And because she started crying, I was able to just take it in and say, I feel this.
Yes.
And because it got that ball rolling again and feeling again. But it was also the creative, because I've always been creative. It also reconnected me to that. So I learned, that some silences are cancer. They're cancerous. They're absolutely cancerous. I learned that sharing your stories, getting those secrets out, is sometimes the only cure for that cancer. And then I learned from that point, telling your story makes you a weapon for good, for the world. So before that, I was, I'm processing my son, I'm processing my older brother, I'm apathetic, I'm lost, I'm certainly depressed. And then by the time everything got over with, here I am. I'm an editor, I'm a writer, I'm published. I got another book coming out, I think this year, and I'm on fire to get other women to tell their stories. I do help men on occasion, but the fire is helping women to realize that their voices are not silent, that their stories are important. And it is amazing. Every time, even now, it is amazing how many times I have heard, oh, that happened to so-and-so, and she never talked about it. I mean, even as early as this week, I found out that somebody that I'm familiar with went through that. And I'm like, I can't wait till, we can have a conversation, and hopefully we can have that heart-to-heart conversation. But even if it's not with me, somebody else to help walk with them arm in arm right out of that pain in the best way for them. Because I still celebrate my son. I have a tree growing in my house with we call it the Moses tree. That was going to be his name, Moses. Oh. Moses Tyrone Vakilian. Yes, child. And he's still with me, very much a part of my everything that I do. But now, because I worked through all that, I also have children. I have two. I have a son and a daughter, and I became a writing coach because in the helping myself get my voice out, I started editing stories. And then it came to the point where there were blocks of the story that got stuck. And it was like, we just have to sit here for a minute. We just got to sit here for a minute. We're just going to go through it a few times. We're going to talk about it. How does this feel in your body? How does this feel in your, I don't understand what you're feeling when you talk about, this man in the room. What's going on? And so it turned into this writing coach, life coach, business coach, everything coach, because there's parts to editing that aren't about the words. And that's a whole nother class and a whole nother book, and I ain't gonna tell you no more. You gotta buy the book.
Another module that you're working on. Wow. Well, Tiffany, I just want to table it here for a second, because I want to go back to when you were talking about your wonderful, wonderful, child in heaven, Moses, and how you basically stated, and this just came to me when you were talking, when you were like, it birthed what you're doing now. So basically, Moses birthed what you're doing with women and talking about giving their story and stuff. And that's powerful. And that's why
I can very easily say he saved my life. I'm sorry. I just easily say we did it again. I can very easily say my son Moses saved my life.
Yes.
Because there were things that I didn't know were wrong with my body. There were things that were certainly I didn't know that I was just carrying mentally, physically, emotionally after his passing. And he's a part of every single thing that I do. As far as the writing and the editing, and even now the speaking, because now I get to celebrate him. Whereas before, every single time I bring up Moses, the people who knew I was pregnant were like, okay, yeah. But most of the people, it was always Moses, no, Andrew. My older brother's name is Andrew. And it wasn't no Andrew, it was just Andrew's life. He was in his 40s. He had relationships all over the world. I mean, there's a lot to that. And my mom's going to write that story. And I said, Mom, I love you, but I cannot edit you. You're my mom. It comes with some stuff. I will find that.
You might have to bring us some other troops for that one.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We'll go. I'm too close to it. I'm absolutely too close to the story.
Yeah. And sometimes it works. If you're too close to that project, you have to say, okay, just to make sure it's going to be right, the way that, she wants it and you want it. But but I was, and then this is okay. Let me step back because everything you were saying was like, ooh, so good. Now,
thank you.
The stories. I mean, this is what I believe. See, you and I, that's why we connect so much with this, because I believe in my whole heart and soul, like you said, your stories. I always say the stories are your stepping stones to your strength in life, because what you go through, be it bad or good. I mean, usually people tend
to again, man.
Yeah, but I would say they're stepping stones of strength. And like you said, Tiffany, it's not like you want to do. I always say it's not you want to tell the story. You have to. It's like a must. Because how many people you're healing through your story, through Moses, the king.
Say that.
You have to. It's like you have to, even when you're not feeling it. Even when you're like, even when it's like the days are going, certain days, like, no, I have to do this because this is a mission for you. This is like that, you know. Yeah.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. I think it is. I don't just think it's important. I think it is vital. I mean, air you breathe, vital. That as you breathe in life, you breathe out story. And to me, whenever you tell a story, the person you tell and you both experience the divine for a half a second, over however long that space is. You guys are sharing something really important and really beautiful. And if they're able to completely connect and continue along the path with you throughout the story, that's where bestsellers are made. And I don't mean bestsellers that just make a bunch of money. I mean bestsellers to the tune of making history, changing history, because this story was told. And it could be something as simple as Strange Fruit. You know the song Strange Fruit, right?
Yes, yeah.
It wasn't written by Billie Holiday, but it was sung by Billie Holiday. And it became a whole thing. And if you watch some of the movies about her or watch some of the documentaries about her, you understand that just to sing that song, it came with some stuff. It is heavy in a way that not every song is. Even, it's a whole political thing. But the point I'm trying to get at is if you look at the story of the song, not even Billie Holiday, just the story of the song and what the song did as a story, that thing, it's ridiculously powerful. And I'm proud to say that I have sung it. I'm proud to say that I will sing it until I'm unable to sing it. It is a beautiful, it's just a little, it's a mini story of stories, because that's what we do. The songs are stories. And if the song ain't a story, it most likely is just a bop and beat. And ain't nothing wrong with that either.
It's like, yeah. It's nothing wrong with that. Everybody,
I'm not mad at it, but the ones that tell the story, them, yeah.
Now okay, so now that we heard your backstory, which is so powerful, and you basically said, okay, and see, you led by example. This is what you did. You said, okay, dealt with that, the birth from Moses birthing your, like you said, your healing and finding out who your true self is, what you're doing now. And then from that point, you said to yourself, okay, this is important for people to do this. So once you did that part, now you're here, this editor, this publisher, this coach. I feel like you're like the birthing mother of other people's stories.
I have been called a midwife. Yes, I have.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
I could. It was just in my mind. I was like, she's a midwife for other people's story. You help birth them out. So with that, Tiffany, I know that you probably come across a lot of different. Yeah.
I have done children's books. I've done nonfiction manuals, memoirs, things like that. The most recent book, okay, it's not the most recent book because some of them it's like one day and there was another day, but one of the more recent books that I helped bring to fruition was called Dear Voice Speak. And I got to make sure to tell my girl to watch this show. She wrote a children's book because she loved her grandbaby so much. But she felt, you know, it was bubbling up, the story that she had to tell, which was her own story. And it was about some pretty heavy, dark stuff. And it was about, and I truly believe before the book came out, she reclaimed her voice, but it was because she reclaimed her voice, she could write the book to set others free. Because not everybody has this. I mean, I have a poem that I put actually in the book that birthed out of me because of my son and my brother's passing, called Ugly Draws, Pretty Panties. But because that's the poem in the book, Ugly Draws, Pretty Panties. That's my family, about the duality of it all. But she, you know, I talk about the ones who are, you know, you are called to tell your story for the voiceless ones who can't, and for the terrified ones who won't.
And whoa. We got to step back on that one. You got to repeat that, Queen, and slow it down just a little bit because that was some meat. It was some meat. Please repeat that.
Hold on, let me get the book. You making me work here. I want to make sure I remember everything.
That was just too good to pass like that. You just don't just do it like that.
Yes, ma'am. I got to make sure I get the words right. I'm pretty sure I said it right.
Well, you see me, I'm already flipping over what you just said. So
okay, I'm gonna read it to you. You ready?
Yes, I am.
It's beautiful. It's called Tell Your Story. I say, have the audacity to tell your stories, ladies. Have the audacity to tell your story. For those who don't have the ability to tell their stories, or better yet, for those who do have the ability but are terrified, who live daily, moment, second, millisecond, so close to every moment in their story. They can't breathe for the terror of the responsibility of holding that story. I could go on and on and on and on and on, but that
right here,
that's the thing that I'm going after. That's that hold. I want to take that hold and turn it into, I'm holding it now. Now it's a fist, and we going after.
Ooh, I'm getting
we're breaking people out. You know, thank you. I appreciate it. I did not come on here to read poetry from my book, but I wanted to make sure that I got the point home.
Yes, believe me, you did, Queen, and that's why I said keep it going. Hey, no apologies here. I'm not
apologizing. I'm just saying I ain't come here to do that.
Well, see, we brought it out.
Amen. Amen. But as far as coaching goes, I want people, I've been requested to read that poem multiple times. It's on multiple interviews. I think one or two of them are on YouTube. And every time I get that same feeling that, yes, for those, we hold the story. We tell the story. Tell your gritty, grimy, nasty story. Tell your beautiful, flowery, ethereal story. Tell it. Tell it all. Tell it well. And that's why I became an editor and a writing coach, because it was tell it all and tell it well. I am committed to helping 1,000 women publish well-polished books. And that's why I became a writing coach. Because I'm like, no, it's not just that you have to get your story out. It's that you have to get your story out in a way that touches the hearts and minds of your reader. And not every reader is meant for every book. But if someone's going to read your book, let them feel your heart. Let them just touch it. Just touch it. Just put their hand on it and understand everything that quote unquote broke you actually is what broke you open, so that you can let all this story out and change the world. Because when you like I said, when we're telling stories, when we're sharing stories, we are engaging the divine, and that power is matchless. Yes. And so, there's a Bible verse that says we overcome by the blood of the Lamb and the word of our testimony. Testimony, you testify. Testify, you went through something. Ain't that a story?
Yeah, that's it. Now, Tiffany. Now, when people, okay, say for instance, I just want to just get just a little brief of the journey that somebody will take with you when they want to come and basically, like you said, tell their testimony, tell their story. So when they come to you, where do you kind of just start? Just give like a little brief overview on how you kind of just bring them in and help them out to get to that point.
So there's a couple of ways that people come to me. It's whether or not they want me to speak and teach, or they have a book that they're bringing to me. In this instance, I'm going to say they have a manuscript or a manuscript idea. I am a writing coach, but that means you gotta do the writing. I will not. I have two.
What you said.
There's not enough time for me to hold hands with people who are not willing to put skin in the game. Because I got littles, and if you're gonna take me away from them, I need to know that it matters to you. Because if it don't matter to you, it shouldn't matter to me.
Yeah. Yes.
So I want to know you're gonna put some skin in the game. As in, you know what? This line right here. I was working on a poem. I'm working on a poetry book right now, and I wrote in the notes. This section annoys me because I know you can do better.
Wow.
I've read previous books of this particular poet.
But I love how you do that, though, because you're trying to get the best out of them in this story, because you know how it's going to transfer. I would say, in a book, it could transfer. I mean, it could change a person's life or help them. Yeah. So don't like sit there and just do like whatever half step, like I want to say.
No, that's literally the thing. If you have an idea for a story and you don't have anything written down, that's okay. I don't mind that. If you were to set up a time for an author breakthrough session with me, we talk for a little bit, and in that time, I'm gonna give you a plan. I'm gonna give you a plan to work your work, and I'm gonna give you, I think it's 2 weeks to a month, depending on what you bring me. And if I see that you're willing, if I see that you're teachable, then there's a whole lot more that I'm happy to give you. I created the manuscript to market process because I'm like, okay, if you got the manuscript done and you are ready to go, but you don't know what to do, and you're not trying to spend the months, possibly years it will take to get an agent. Now, that's not to say that some people don't skyrocket right through the door. If you want to get it done, I did this book. I'm pulling out examples, y'all. Pay attention. Class is in session. I did this book. Let me hold it up so you can see it, baby. Okay. See this title? This title's crazy.
I need to stay very close.
But I did this book at my last manuscript to market. It took 1 month. Concept to book in hand. I showed them the proof in my hand. Sorry, it's messing with me.
Wow. See?
In less than a month, because I was not playing around, and I gave them links for where to go to get the stuff that they needed. I'm about to do the exact same thing again coming up with this in the coming months, but I'm going to do the course repeatedly so that I can take small cohorts. I don't know if cohort's the word I want to use yet, but small groups of people through from manuscript, which means the manuscript got to be done to market, so that you have a proof in your hand. And if you decide to publish from there, great. I have had many people come to me so just to get their book to the proof part so that they can take it and make it into beta reader copies. And if you don't know what a beta reader is, sign up for my mailing list and you'll get information on that. They get beta reader copies out to their beta readers. The beta readers will read the proof, and they'll just go in here and they will write in the proof. I know you're supposed to write on books. Every book wants to be written in. That's why it's a book. But they do that, and then they give the copy back, and then you, writer, can go through, make those changes, make those notes, do the things you need to do, and then when you get your book professionally edited, every manuscript needs a professional editor. And I would dare to say, budget willing, you need at least 2. There are 5 types of editing, and a lot of editors do multiple types together, which is a great thing. But there are 5 types. You need the developmental, which is the first and biggest. You need the mechanical, which is sentence structure, misspellings, misperiods, spaces, and things like that. And there's the ones that are in between. But you need both. And you can call it different things, call it copy edit, call it line edit, but you need the structure, because if your structure ain't right, it's going to fall apart. And then you're going to end up having to have coaching, which is going to spend money that you may or may not plan to spend. You need that. You need a professional cover, unless you know your market so well and know the software so well that I'm giving y'all my whole course. But there are things that you need. If you sign up for my mailing list, I will give you the list you check before you publish, because it will walk you through. I think it even has a little check mark so you can not. If you decide you don't want beta readers, I don't recommend it, but that's not to say it isn't done, because you might be that unicorn that writes the best manuscript, needs a couple of little changes or a couple of big changes depending, and then an agent picks it up. An agent sells it to one of the big 5s. I am a mini publisher, which means I publish in-house, which means my team does that work.
Wow.
And I am proud of every book that has come out of Speak Fire Publishing. I am proud of each one, because they're coming from the heart. They ain't playing around. And one of the stories is a fictional retelling of the Song of Solomon.
Really? Wow.
That whole face you made, yeah. And when I tell you, I'm like, okay,
wow.
We edited over COVID. It was a big book. I mean, because you have to remember, Song of Solomon, there's a lot of detail because it's a lot of history.
Yeah. It's a lot. Then there was, so I was like, wow.
Yeah. And I'm proud of that stuff. I had another one is a pastor. What is the name of his book? It's about obedience. And it's just, but these are things that when you understand, he did his own cover, but he needed interior format. There's a whole thing with interior format, and then there's style guides, and then there's this, and then there's that. There's a lot to it, but a lot of stuff that you can have someone else do. There's a lot of templates that are already out there that'll save you time and money. And if you are teachable, you can learn how to do this yourself and start flipping the gift.
See, now that last part, I like how you said start flipping the gift. And that's what, that's what you do. I mean, you just gave so much. See, that's why people need to read.
I get excited.
That's when okay, this is a prime example when I tell people about a person's purpose, passion, and drive, what I talk about. You just heard it right out of Tiffany. You see the passion in her. You see that purpose she has. And that drive is just
look, I read I performed for you. I taught you.
You read to me. You gave me the I was like,
look. I will pull one out, but I'm afraid to fall over. I got flowers for you. We're here. What are we here to do? Sit here, live, and no, we got stuff to do. And
yes, we do.
In the telling of the story, we figure out who we are, and if we are and how we are the same or different from somebody else. And it's in that learning we start building those bridges. We make the neurons start to fire at one another. We're healing each other. Didn't even realize we were healing each other. All of a sudden, all of this growth and vivacity and energy is coming out. I'm here for it. I am absolutely here for it. Sorry, then I just got on my soapbox.
Well, okay, I need you to save up just a little more of all that good, wonderful wisdom, energy, and knowledge, because what I want to do is I want to give you 30 seconds I want to take myself down, and I want you to give some lasting, just any kind of gems that you want to leave to the audience. And I'll come back up and we'll close out. I'll be back.
All right. Hey, everybody. This is Tiffany Vakilian, Miss Speak Fire herself. I just want you to know that it is absolutely vital that you tell your story, but it's really important that you tell it well. You tell it often. We change the world by the telling of our stories. And if you can do that, you are already on the path to healing and prosperity in a way you weren't even ready for. And I just want to be a part of that if I can. And if this is the way that I do it, then so be it. Come on and join me. You can reach out to me on my website at tiffanyvakilian.com. You can reach out to me at speakfire.today, or you can reach out to me and schedule a one-on-one session at bookwithtiffany.com. I look forward to hearing from you. I look forward to hearing your stories, and I look forward to helping you tell them better. That's all I got to say. So she can bring me back, and she can come back whenever she wants to. But I'm really happy to be here.
Oh, I could talk to you
forever. A few websites, not just my website. I gave a few.
Well, just like Miss Tiffany said, that please reach out to this queen. We had so much fun with this interview. I know I did, and hopefully Tiffany did too. We've been waiting to get together, but just on a serious note, real quickly, everything Tiffany does, you can tell the passion, you can tell the love, you can tell that that's her mission, is to really make sure that you tell your story. Your story is so important. Me and Tiffany's we met each other in another coaching group that we're both a part of. Giving shouts to Holly real quick. And when I seen her for the first time, when she came into the group, I just knew right then and there. I said, this woman has some deep things that she's working on for individuals in this world. And she wants to help. And that's why she doesn't pull no, she's like she said, it's no sugarcoating here. She wants you to tell the story. You're healing. I always tell people your story could save somebody else, will save somebody else. I'm not going to say could, will save somebody else's life. So you can't keep it hidden, but you want to do it the right way. And going to Tiffany, she'll make sure you do it the right way. So Tiffany, thank you so much, lady. This has been an honor. I just feel like this royalty is in the house here. Royalty.
I'm still not looking at royalty myself. Come on, girl.
You got that little crown. Put that crown. You got that crown now. Remember? Yeah, there you go. There you go. It's right. It looks good. But yeah, Tiffany. So I want to just tell people that, because I'm always telling people. And see, again, going back to the Coaches Lounge, that's why it's so important to have a coach. And I say this all the time. If Oprah, Barbara Walters, even Jennifer Lopez, or whoever else have coaches, why don't you think you need one? This amazes me when I tell people that. So please reach out to Tiffany and make sure that, because she's there for you. She's going to be there in your corner. She's going to walk you through it. And she's going to make sure that you at the end of it, it's going to be a life-changing experience, not only for you that you went through the program with her, but your book will be a life transformational experience for others. So thank you, lady.
Thank you.
This I feel like I got a gift. I mean, the whole year I'm feeling good now. I had Tiffany on my show. I'm done. I'm good.
You are so funny. Hey, I'll take it. That's nice. That's real nice. I'm sitting here feeling the same. Like, I was a Barbara Beckley show. Hey.
Love you, lady. Love you so much.
Yes, queen. Take it back for yourself. Sip something with some tea.
Today, over 1 billion children in the world live in poverty. At Help Heal Humanity, our goal is to connect children in need with people like you who want to make a difference. Our student sponsorship program helps provide children with the necessities for a healthy and successful start to life. When you sponsor a student, you're not only giving them the gift of education, you're giving them the best chance for a brighter future. 100% of your donation supports the tuition fees, uniforms, textbook, and school supplies needed to thrive in a safe and healthy learning environment. Sponsor a student now and be the catalyst for their brighter future.
Well, we're back, and I really truly enjoyed Miss Tiffany that day. That woman, I'm telling you, if you're feeling like, oh, one of them days, or oh, I got to deal with this, you just talk to Tiffany for a little bit, and she'll get you talking, screaming, hollering. But that's what I love about this show. That's what I love about the Coaches Lounge is that we bring some powerful, amazing coaches, educators, and consultants on the show. And again, giving them that spotlight, how they help others in life. And that's what it's all about. They help move the needle in other people's lives. And that's why they need to be spotlighted. And that's why I have this show. So with that said, we're going to bring on another wonderful, and I always call the women queens, another queen, Mrs. Brown. And I'm telling you, this lady is powerful. She basically helps people. She's basically a certified career coach. Now, usually people, you're like, oh, okay. No, she's a unique certified career coach because she really helps people understand, where they want to go and guide them through that. So she helps people figure out what type of work will be aligned with their purpose. See, it's one thing to say, okay, maybe you need a career here, maybe you look over here, or we'll look at some things online. But it's another thing when you align that person with the purpose that they have and exploring, their values, their strengths, their skills, their personality, and their interests, because that's what it's all about. That's what it's all about. But before we bring on this queen, I got to do it right. I can't just bring on royalty and just say, ta-da, she's on the screen. So we're going to see this little clip. And then after come back, you will meet this wonderful queen. Good morning.
Good morning, Barbara. Thank you for having me on. How are you?
I am wonderful because you're on. This is amazing. I love bringing on the women. So thank you so much. You have been in what I call the virtual room down below and coming on the show. Like I said, I always really appreciate, especially the coaches and people that really take the time out to be in somebody else's life to move them to their goals. And that's huge, 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 huge. Now, before we even start, Queen, can you pronounce, because I didn't want to say your first name wrong. Can you pronounce your first name for me?
Yeah, it's Ginette.
Ginette?
Yes.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
So, Mrs. Ginette. So,
yes.
First of all, where are you from? Where are you?
So I'm just outside of Toronto, Canada.
Yay, global. Every time I get somebody on a global aspect, I just get like so geeked out because that means my show just went global again. And I love bringing in people from other countries and, just around the world. And that's what it's all about, to do that. So before we kind of get in, because, this is a conversation, we're just getting the chance to know you. And that's what it's all about, because you never know, people that are watching the show needs, certain coaches. And that's why I bring on all different types, because you never know what a person's need is. And for you, like I said, you are the certified career coach. And before we get into what you do in some details, just a little bit, where did it start from? Because I know I always tell people, you shouldn't just probably like, I'm this coach, I'm just, doing this. But what triggered it? What was kind of pull the curtain a little bit for us?
Yeah, for sure. Good question. So I've been working in human resources since 2004, working up to more senior level positions for the last few years of my career. And then in September 2020, like a lot of people, I was restructured out of my job. And that was, I think, the catalyst that really changed my focus. I had started feeling not very happy in my HR career. I was feeling like it just wasn't aligned, right? I wasn't getting what I needed out of the work that I was doing. And so then I went back to school in 2021 for career coaching. So I think it was that transition, like that push that I needed in September 2020 to really make that change.
And the nice part about that, Gina, because I know that a lot of people had to do a change up. I mean, we all did, even myself. I think a lot of us. And then we really found through this whole, well, I don't want to put it out there, we know what's going on. But through that whole experience that we all dealt with, that we started saying, either, jobs were like, okay, letting you go, or, you let yourself go. And you said to yourself, I'm not really feeling it's not fitting with me anymore. And you started to explore yourself more and see that this is something, I want to do something different. And it sounds like you kind of went through that evolution with yourself.
Yeah, true. Yeah, I felt like, I wanted to help people more one-on-one. I really liked that one-on-one work in HR, but there just wasn't enough of it, right? Or it wasn't in the same context it wasn't really helping people, to the extent that maybe they needed, right?
Yeah.
Or that I wanted to do it. So I think that was the main thing. The main difference between the two that I wanted to get into more with the career coaching, because that's really all I do. All I do is work one-on-one with people, and I talk to them and I help them in that way. There's nothing else that I need to really spend my time on. Besides those reels that you showed at the beginning.
Wonderful. I loved your pictures and stuff. But I like how you said, the one-on-one, because like you said, it's really important to have that focus with them. And like you said, you kind of go through, what aligns with their purpose and everything. And sometimes if you do it so quickly, or use a group of people or whatever, it's kind of difficult. I don't know, this is in my sense, because I'm a coach and I do the one-on-ones a lot. I love them too. Where you really get to know that person more. You get to more deep dive into what they want. And then you get to really work with them even more.
Yeah. And what's funny is, it ends up being an emotional experience for a lot of people, which you wouldn't necessarily think with career coaching. It's not, you're not talking about, like your deepest problems, right? Like with a therapist. But it still is a very emotional experience for people, because they're not used to talking about what their passion is or what's missing in their work life with someone who's just there to listen, right, and ask the right questions. So yeah, it ends up being a very powerful experience, on both sides, right? I'm learning from the clients as much as they're learning through answering pondering questions and further exploring different areas of their life that they hadn't really thought about. So, in terms of their values, a lot of the time people don't think about what their what their values really are. And a lot of the time that job dissatisfaction comes from that values misalignment.
Yes, it does.
Sometimes hard to pinpoint.
Yeah. And like you said, I know you mentioned, it's kind of like, a lot of people like, well, it's not the, when you're coaching somebody like in a personal, more deep aspect, you used to be like, well, career is just like a career coach. But no, you're right. It really gets emotional, because when you think about it, it's part of a person's livelihood. It's part of your life. And, you helping them maneuver through that is going to get emotional. They're going to think, because you just want to just do something, just be doing something. People want to do things because it is their purpose. It's something that their uniqueness is within them. So that's why I think that brings out that emotion, and it gets more deep. And I love how you do that with individuals.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's interesting too, because a lot of the time people have mental health stress or illness or just general anxiety about working, right? So the reels that you showed from my Instagram, in the intro, a lot of those are speaking to those points, right? Which I think I can do because I don't work for anyone. So I can just, say about, having the Sunday scaries, but people relate to that. And I think a lot of the time people don't realize that all of that anxiety or the mental health issues that they're having or the physical illness is related to that job stress and not being aligned with their work.
Yes, it definitely. And, I've been through, I'm just thinking about when you were saying that, all my ups and downs throughout my job journey. There's been some really good high moments where, it was just like, oh, this is wonderful. Everything's flowing. Then there's been some really downfalls where I had to basically make a decision to say, I need to transition. I'm going to have to leave. And sometimes that's emotional too. And I love that's something I know that you work with people that, either are looking for a new career or transitioning into another career or trying to figure out, okay, a whole big change in their lives. And that takes a toll on a person too. Like you said, on a mental level, and every level, mental, physical, just soulful level, because now you're like, okay, now I got to shift. Now I got to do something different. And then some people, I don't know if you deal with this sometime with people where they know they need to probably make a change or they want to, but they might have that little fear factor or they're in that little box still and they're so used to doing what they do that it's like, oh, I don't know if I want to change. I want to change, but I'm so used to this. So maybe I should stay here.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is that fear of the unknown, right? Which is where having a coach, in your corner to support you and help you through that process and that transition is so helpful. But yeah, there is that fear factor there. And there's also that a lot of the time people don't recognize that they deserve to be happy, right? That there's this assumption that we have that, work equals suffering, right? Or work equals compromise or something like that, right? Where it doesn't necessarily need to be that way. And people can feel happy and they can feel joy when they go to work.
Yes, definitely. And, again, Queen, like I said, you're the woman queen. I got to commend you for doing that. I know you mentioned about you completed a 12-month graduation for your certificate for career counseling. And that is one amazing. That's what I want to say. It is amazing because to be that intense to do that after you had to change, like you say, you changed again in your life to do and say, okay, I need to get this done. I want to get certified and push yourself. Because I think with your example of that, and just as is my personal opinion, that this is your credibility that you're showing even more so, extra credibility to others to say, look, I did it. You see what I'm doing. I can help you in the same manner.
Yeah. Thank you for that. It was difficult. It was probably going to school for that year because I was also doing it online. And it was probably one of the most mentally taxing experiences I've had because it was a lot of work. And you had to get good grades too, right? So it was very challenging, but it's also one of those things, if you put one foot in front of the other each day and you just keep moving forward each day, then now I look back and I'm kind of surprised at how much I accomplished in the last 2 years. But it's just really that matter of just don't stop moving, right? Even if you're not moving that fast, one day and maybe the next day it's more of a sprint, that's okay, right? But as long as you're not staying in one position or standing still, then you're going to make some progress.
Yes. And I love what you said, because I always say that to people too. I'm like, I don't care if you're walking, crawling, slow walking, running, jumping, whatever. At least you're doing something. You're not standing on the sideline looking. that's
Yeah.
that's the thing. It's just stay in it. Just stay in it and take the time that you have to take to get to that point in your life. So that's wonderful. But I mean, before we wrap up, I want to ask you, like, if somebody was interested, like, say for instance myself, and I'm like, I need help re-entering the workforce. I've been off for a while. I was laid off, or have you? How do you kind of just start that journey with them?
Yeah, absolutely. So I did listen to your interview with Tiffany beforehand, and I really liked what she was saying about stories, right? So a lot of that is focusing on the stories that you have in your career and things that you have done that you feel really good about, right? They're in career coaching, we call them pride stories. And from there, you can really gather some good insight into yourself, into ways that you felt fulfilled in the job in the past. The other thing is tuning into yourself as well, because sometimes we look outside to other people for advice, and they're on their own path, right? So just tuning into your own, your own guidance and what your own path is I think the first step.
I really love how you said that. You're right, because a lot of times I think that's the easy route. I mean, this is again me. I would suggest the easy route where we start asking others, well, what do you think I should do? Or what do you think? What is, and it's okay to ask questions just to see what their thoughts are, but not go with because you're you and they're them, and they can only say so much. You have to really deep inside, see what you like to do, because they might say, oh, I feel like you should be a waitress. And in the back of your mind, because you're good with people, you're nice to, they might say all that. And in your mind, like, well, I don't want to be no waitress. I mean, maybe I'm good with people. I talk to people, but I want to be an engineer, So you have to make sure. Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah, that's true. It's true, because other people have limits on what they think you can do, right? Based on your past experience and what they've seen you do in the past. And so they may be thinking quite small for you, right? Whereas really your purpose is a lot bigger and a lot more expansive than what they could ever dream.
And that's, again, that's where you as a coach comes in and reminds people and say, okay, let's take this a little bit further, because I truly believe that you have more than just, what you're doing over here or what you've been doing for a while or 20-something years. So I love how you spin that and let people know that, because they need to understand that, they can reach wherever they want to reach if they just, go by the certain, journey of it, like you said, and help them out with that.
Yeah. Yeah. And a lot of it is the transferable skills too. So we have skills that we've learned in our past work experience, and really pulling out what those skills are through career coaching and seeing how they could fit a completely different role is sometimes mind-blowing, because it just goes beyond what limits that you currently have on yourself.
Yes. And again, just to reiterate, what I love what you do is you show them that, you can be beyond, just don't put the limits on you. You can go beyond that. You can think of being beyond that if you let yourself go that route. And like I tell people, but you have to make that decision within yourself. And I know you probably attest to that with others, that, we can really look at everything that you can do as a career, or, where you're trying to move. But then you have to give yourself permission to say, okay, I want to do that, or I can do that.
Yeah, exactly. And what you were saying earlier about the fear, so it's letting go of that fear and letting go of those self-limiting beliefs, and then tapping into what your true purpose is and what your true potential is, because everyone has potential.
Oh yes, definitely. And I know I can see that you're just a wonderful person to come into somebody's life and help them get to that point. I like how the name of your company just got redirected. I love that. Wonderful name for the company. Wonderful.
Thank you.
So I want to make sure that you get any lasting thoughts that you want to give to the audience. So I'm going to take myself down just for 30 seconds. I'll be back, and then we can just close up so they can tell them where they can contact you.
Okay, perfect. Hi, everyone. So my closing remark would just be to say that you deserve to be happy. And the first step is, realizing that and reaching out to someone. You can reach out to me at info@justgotredirected.com, or my website is justgotredirected.com. And you can make those changes in your life because you deserve to be happy, and you don't need to suffer and necessarily stay in a job that you feel isn't right for you.
Amazing. Amazing. Well, Queen, this has been an honor and a privilege for you to be on the show. Like I tell everybody, this is what I tell the audience now. So just work with me for a minute. Reach out to this wonderful coach. The website is right there. There's no excuse. And if you still say, well, that website went too fast, but I couldn't see it, reach out to me, and then I'll reach out to this wonderful queen, and she will help you maneuver and navigate and really align you with what your purpose, what your values, what your goals are. And that's what it's all about when it comes to career or anything that you're doing in life, is always try to align at what you like and not everybody else. Because if we were everybody else, that'd be a boring world, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's kind of boring. It's like, I don't think, and another thing, I wouldn't want a whole bunch of other barbers running around, because I don't think this world be like, oh my God, what did we just do? So no, we all have to be our unique selves, because we all bring something wonderful to the table in life. And as you do,
Exactly.
Queen. So I just want to let you
Exactly.
know too, you're always welcome to come back if there's anything, that you want to, if you're doing something different, or any books that's coming your way that you're going to be doing, or just anything, any special things, please, you are always welcome back to the Coaches Lounge.
Oh, thank you, Barbara. It was a pleasure. Thank you for the conversation.
Thank you so much. And you take care. And just to let everybody know, we will be back next Friday at the Coaches Lounge with 2 other wonderful coaches. And as I always tell people, don't do it yourself. Always look at the fact that you're trying to get to the next level in life. And sometimes you need that coach or that person to give you that encouragement, that alignment, and direct you in the right path of where you should be going. Take care.